All right, ladies and gentlemen, the gathering again. The general meeting of the Tampa Heights Civic Association, August 27, 2025. My name is Rick Henry, and I'm privileged to act as president of the association. We welcome you. I see a number of faces in the crowd here that I used to see. I see folks that are near. Welcome you all. Thank you for coming. We have one agenda item tonight. And for those of you who are regular, are going to good news. You're going to see very little of me. So you're welcome. That has to do with this meeting and pretty much any other meeting we have in the year. So that works out. It's great for you. The one agenda item is a candidate forum for candidates seeking election to District 5 Tampa City Council. When I sit down, Noreen Dollard of the Legal Women Voters, who is standing right over here, take the podium to give you a few of the details pending regarding the election, critical dates, etc. Following Maureen, Tara and Sabia, our corresponding or recording secretary and member of the board, will take the podium to give you the rules of the game for tonight, rules of the forum, and also to give you some background on Tampa Heights for those of you who are not necessarily familiar. And after Tara, the star of the show, Mitch Perry, who will be our moderator tonight. Just a word about the panel. 14 qualified candidates were invited. We have chairs here for 14 candidates. 14 candidates have not come. We have 12 on the stage. So for you 12, thank you very much for being here and for sharing your time with us. Just a couple of housekeeping matters. Restrooms are back here behind me. Men and ladies are both over in this alcove. The exits for this building are stage, I don't know how this works, stage left, is that how you do that? Anyway, to the left of the stage is one exit. The door you probably came in and through is the other. And the third exit is back here to the rear. Okay? Need water? We have refreshments here, only water. You need it. And we also have cookies and other light bites. So please take advantage of that. You were handed milk cards. At least I hope you were. If you weren't, you need to go back there and get them. You were handed milk cards when you came in. The purpose being, during the forum, if you have a question that you would like to pose to the candidates, write your question now. I will be circulating among you, and I'll collect those cards, or maybe others circulating as well. We'll collect them, vet them, give them the minute, and you'll decide in the moment as discretionary to those moments you will ask. And you can start writing those questions at any time, including right now. I think that's all I got. So I'm going to shut up. I'm going to turn this podium over to Noreen Dollard of the League of Women Voters. This is for Zoom.
Got
That's
it.
all that is.
Hello, thank you. I'm Noreen Dollard. I'm with the Hillsborough County and Pasco County League of Women Voters. I'm the chair of the Speakers Bureau. So that's why I'm very lucky to be here. If you're looking for those note cards, we have a table in the back manned by the fabulous Lynn Price and Kathy Steele, and you can pick up cards there if you didn't get one on the way in or you have an extra question. I'm just going to take a few minutes and give you updates on what the details are with respect to voting registration for the next month or so. Election day, September 9th, 2025. It is too late to register to vote at this point. That closed earlier this month. Early voting is September 4th through 7th, 2025. You would be able to drop off your vote by mail ballot or vote on those dates. The early The early voting sites, you can check the Supervisor of Elections website at votehillsborough.gov, but they are at Blythe Andrews on Martin Luther King, at the Fred Carl County Center downtown, Robert Gilder Election Service Center on Nebraska, and the West Tampa Branch Library down near Howard and Union. On election day, you must vote in your designated precinct. So please make a note of that. With respect to a runoff election, if it is needed, that is scheduled for October 28th, 2025. If you're not registered and you would like to be, and we certainly encourage that, the deadline to register to vote for the runoff is September 29th. And early voting will be the 23rd through the 26th. If you're voting by mail, remember now you have to re-up your registration periodically. And so if you want to vote by mail ballot, tomorrow is the deadline. So go home tonight, do it on your phone. You can scan our QR code in the back and take care of that if you would like one, but tomorrow is it. Request it. I do want to mention something that's been a little bit of a problem with the new driver's licenses and registering to vote, or getting your requesting your vote by mail, and I tested it this morning. If you do that, put in all your information, name, birthday, address, and all of that. At the bottom, you'll have a choice of selecting either entering the last four of your social security number or your driver's license number. Go with your social security number, no problem. If there is still a problem though, I know not all of us like to make phone calls anymore. You know, I'm not a fan either. However, our supervisor of election was super helpful. You can get his number, their number off the website, or it's 813-744-5900. And they're super helpful. So, you know, take advantage of that if you need that. Everything I just said pretty much is summarized on this little card. You need it. Stop by our table on your way out tonight and grab one just so you'll have all the deadlines in mind. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Terrence Sabia, Tampa Heights Civic Association.
Thanks, Marie. So I'm going to stand out in front of the podium because I tend to move around a little bit. And I just want to say thank you to all of you for making the time to come out tonight. It's really exciting to see a full room and a full long table full of candidates. So we're really excited. We wanted to do something a little different with our questions. We know we're toward the end of a very long run of forums for all of you. So thank you for the stamina. We know it's tough. And to my neighbors, thanks for being here. To all of you who are outside of District 5 or outside of Tampa Heights, thanks for joining us because this is going to be hopefully a really great night. As Marina said, I'm Terrence Sabia. I've lived in Tampa Heights now for 16 years, since 2009. And before that, I was still in District 5 living in Ybor. For about 20 years now, I've been in District 5, and I was reflecting on that earlier today. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about Tampa Heights and some of the things that are going on in our community, and to give you a little history as well. So as many of you know, Tampa Heights is one of the oldest neighborhoods in the city of Tampa. It's known for historic architecture, the riverfront, large trees that provide lots of shade, our brick streets, and even more recent development and redevelopment. We have Armature Works, we have the Heights, and we have an extended river walk. These are all features that are new and old coming together. It has transformed from Tampa's first residential suburban neighborhood into a mix of historic homes and modern development with cultural attractions, public parks, and it's something that we cherish, which is a strong community spirit. Tampa Heights has a long history of engagement, civic engagement, and a number of events spanning generations. That's something that we're really proud of. The neighborhood strives to preserve its cultural identity, its historic character. Sorry, I'm going to turn pages here. Tampa has not shied away from new, denser development, and in many instances, we have welcomed it. But community efforts have sought to make sure that it fits in to the neighborhood fabric, and that's been something that we've really worked hard on. We want our neighborhood to fit together well, like a well-stitched quilt. The neighborhood hosts a number of cultural facilities, including schools and civic centers like the one we're gathered here in tonight. Tampa Heights is at the nexus of downtown, the river, Seminole Heights, Ybor City, and even Encore. The neighborhood seeks to improve the preservation of our historic structures, our walkability, our tree canopy, our affordable living, and our local businesses. We seek continued efforts to strengthen connections between our neighborhood, downtown, our neighbors, and the rest of the city. And that's also really key, not only to circulate within Tampa Heights itself, but to circulate outside of it to the extent of our city at large. I'm going to give you an overview of tonight's forum briefly. It's also the little card that you received when you got in tonight. On the back of that card, you'll see a QR code, and that QR code will take you to a straw poll. So we'd love for you at the end of the evening to go to it and respond for us. So for tonight's forum, each of our candidates will give an introduction, and then we'll move into a topics round, where we're going to break them up into groups of 3, and each group will be asked a different question, and we'll have 2 rounds. The second round will be a speed round. They have little paddles. We're pretty excited about these. Thumbs up or thumbs down. We have about a dozen questions, so it's a yes/no round, and our moderator will help tally those for you. We'll have a recap round. So a question that they didn't get asked, but that they would really like to answer, they'll be able to do next. And then a final round, which will be a short answer. They all have whiteboards in front of them, so they will write a short response on those whiteboards, hold them up, and then they'll have an opportunity to read them out loud. This is where we will also have them respond to audience questions that Mitch will sort. Finally, they'll have a closing statement, and that closing statement will be a 30-second closing statement, and that'll be the conclusion of all the rounds. So again, if you'd like to ask a question, please go ahead and go back to our table where the League of Women Voters is. You can grab a card, write on it, hold it up, and come around and collect them from you. And now it's my pleasure to introduce our moderator for the forum, Mitch Perry. And for those of you that don't know Mitch has covered politics and government in Florida for more than 2 decades. Most recently, he is the former politics reporter for Bay News 9. He has also worked at Florida Politics, Creative Local, and WMNF Radio in Tampa. He was also part of the original staff when Florida Phoenix was created in 2018, and we could not be happier to have him moderating this forum with us tonight. So help me give him a big round of applause.
All right, thank you very much, Taryn, and thank you for all joining us tonight. So one other thing we'll say before we start up is when we do the questions, Taryn is going to be right here, and she'll be giving the clock. We're going to have the opening statements will be 30 seconds each. The responses for the questions will be a minute long, and she'll wave a sign there when it's 30 seconds, and then when obviously it's 0, then we'll just cut you off at that point. Okay, without any further ado, let's get this thing going. We're going to start off with opening statements. Let's start off with Fran Tate.
Good evening, everyone. I am Fran Tate, and I'm so pleased to be here with you this evening. 34 years ago, the United States Army sent us here to Tampa, Florida, beautiful Tampa, Florida. We retired. 20 years later, we moved into our third house, which was in East Tampa. We planted our feet and began serving our community. I am, and I had to make a list. I am presently on the East Tampa CRA, fourth year. The first 2 years, I was elected chair. Am I through?
I think so, yeah. Thank you, Fran. It's quick. Elvis, speak up.
Local pastor, 19 years in Pittsburgh County. I've been pastoring here. Church here, also church in Houston, Texas. I've been involved in our community, graduated from King High School. I've been, of course, with Middleton High School in 2002. I've been serving our community, have a Elite Men of Tomorrow group, as well as a General Scholars group with fourth graders. Our church is adopting 4 schools, and I'm looking to continue my service. Thank you so much for all of God's blessings.
Good evening, Allison Hewitt, HewittWillDoIt.com, third generation East Tampa resident. My platform is empowering neighborhoods, economic development to include assisting with small businesses and affordable housing, as well as transparency and accountability on how the city government serves you. I can be found at HewittWillDoIt.com for all of my background history, and I ask for your votes in 2 minutes.
My name is Albert Cook. I lived in D5 for quite some time. I served on a neighborhood association. I was actually elected to a neighborhood association board. From there, I was awarded the Everyday Hero Award from Tampa Police Department. I was also appointed by the mayor, chief of police, and chief of the city council to various city boards. I'm also a businessman, so I bring business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Albert.
Good evening, neighbors. My name is Ariel Mirabindi. I've lived in Tampa Heights for 34 years, right from Central this term. I'm not Central. It's been my last term living at home for 34 years, 3 generations in this neighborhood. My grandfather started out in the Scrubs, Tampa's original Black neighborhood. I'm here. My mother and I won Tampa Heights a year and a half ago, and I was an integral part of that victory. And I want to carry that legacy forward. I want to bring strong results to our community, infrastructure, helping our small businesses and building programs for our youth. Thank you so much.
Gary?
Welcome, everybody. I'm glad you're here. My name is Carol Gary West. I've been here for 40 years in business in the Tampa area. Went to University of South Florida, graduate, and also, let you know, in 2011, I was alumni of the year. I've achieved a lot of things in the area. I've been on the Barrio Latino. I've also been on the Roxy Visa. I've been on those each 8 years. I've been appointed. I've litigated. The biggest thing that I have is also being the Tampa Pride president, where we've had 80 to 100,000.
Thank you, Karen.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Nia Young. I am my husband and I are Tampa Heights residents. I've been serving my community for the past 7 years in nonprofit, grassroots nonprofit. In fact, this building that we're sitting in today is actually where I was. So I'm so excited that you all are here. One thing I want to make clear, transparency, accountability, and collaboration have been a part of my message since my campaign began. In addition to youth empowerment, which is my #1 priority, smart growth, economic development, and housing for all. So thank you all so much for being here.
Well, my name is Jose Vasquez. So many of you know me because on the past mayor election, I'm running again in Boca. Why? Because I disappoint what happened. And that's the reason I'm running again as a praying candidate. Because I'm against what's going on right now in the city of Tampa, especially on District number 5. I want to say thank you for being here. I don't know what I can respond to your question. I mean, you try to get something of course.
Good evening. My name is Audette Brooks. I'm so glad to be with you this evening. My background ranges from New York City down here to Tallahassee, working in government. And I want to bring that experience to work, to see some of the ideas that have been proliferated
because I believe in this place, and my family, we continue to believe in West Tampa, to believe in District 5, and what this area can be, and I don't feel about it.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tom George. I've been in District 5 for 25 years. I've been a resident. Me and my wife became homeowners, and I've been a local business owner. I own a Pro Bar in Ybor City. We opened in 2006, and I look forward to hopefully serving you and getting to know the board. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Joanna Covert, and I live in East Tampa. My office is in Ybor. What I want to talk to you about really quick is that I appreciate everyone's platforms, but I am the only one up here who has the real experience and track record in creating thousands of jobs in the Tampa Bay area. I've placed more people in homes, first-time home buyers, and down payment assistance in the city of Tampa. I have supported small businesses, and I want to bring my solutions and my experience, proven experience, to this council. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Thomas Scott. I am the only person that's ever been elected to public office. I represented this area from 1996 to 2011 in the county commission or Tampa City Council. If you want to redevelop it, as opposed to 1999, I voted for the community redevelopment area to be developed for Tampa Heights. So if you enjoy that, enjoy your house, enjoy all the many areas, just because 1999 voted by the board of county commission. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you all for those opening statements. Let's get into questions right now. And again, these will go to 3 candidates each. We're going to ask 1 question to 3 candidates, go on that way. So the first two, Fran, Elvis, and Allison. The question is, what is the most pressing issue facing neighborhoods in District 5, like Tampa Heights, and how would you address it as the representative of this district? 1 minute.
The most pressing issue in my community is housing. I am a member of the THCA committee, and we have signed $46 million now to the budget of East Tampa CRA, more than any other CRA has signed. So that's how I would address the housing. And then I would go out and advocate to the community. This is what we have in our budget. Please attend the meetings so you become more involved and you will understand that the monies are there and they're available for you if you or your family desires a home and they qualify within the 7.5 mile square of our district. Thank you.
My name is Mitch Perry. I would say that one of the pressing issues that became surely pressing is traffic here today, infrastructure, and transportation. It is absolutely terrible at certain times to get through this area. I think what's necessary is that we really start becoming very intentional about expanding the sidewalks and our bike lanes. We also need to work on our improving our access to our riverwalk and our streetcars. Which I think we need to really do more with infrastructure when it comes down to transportation, because for more housing, while we need it, we need to most definitely be focusing on how we're going to make sure that people can get from point A to point B. And so we're not doing both at the same time. We're going to find ourselves a job.
Thank you.
Allison Hewitt, HewittWillDoIt.com. I think one of the pressing issues is accountability and make sure we have transparency. Because all the issues responsible for our area, the transportation, the infrastructure, we need to make sure that the dollars that have been allocated are actually going to where it needs to go to in our community. There are plans to be able to execute them that are not being executed internally right now with the city government. And so we'll be able to make sure that we are transparent and communicate. So we had a meeting here not too long ago where DOT came and made sure and were able to communicate with what the construction was going to be. The city needs to make sure that they're more transparent with you and our neighborhoods about infrastructure and construction.
All right, thank you. Next set of questions. This is going to start off with Albert. Next two other after that. Let's go. So housing obviously continues to rise. It's a national problem, not just exclusively to Florida or Tampa. What specific policies, starting with you, Albert, would you support to ensure equitable and affordable housing in District 5?
That's a great question. First thing I would do is we have to start looking at zoning and ordinance we have to start streamlining that process so we can get things changed so that we can start developing more than one house at a time. So we can have duplexes, triplexes, and multi-unit buildings. This way we can increase the amount of people that are living here in Tampa, and they can have housing.
Hey, Alfred, is your microphone on? Let me make sure it's. Okay, go ahead, try it now.
Hello?
Yeah, there we go. Go ahead, sir. Yeah, please.
Second is, we have to make sure that sounds better. Second, we have to make sure that there's funds available for first-time home buyers. It's very, very important that we get our folks from apartments into home ownership so they can start enjoying the benefits of long-term financial gains. I guess I got my.
Yeah.
Okay.
A few seconds.
Of course, we have to also look at one other thing is we have to make sure that people have good jobs so that they can afford a nice house. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So just approved for accessory dwelling units. And I think that's a great opportunity to expand if we have the resources to do so. And then also the city has city-owned property in lots that can be used to build attainable housing. And the funds exist. So if we just make sure that the process is transparent, that we put forward a motion to get the ball rolling on building on those lots. And as we're tracking the progress, there's some sort of portal where the residents and the neighbors like you and I can see real progress in the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Terry West. One of the things out there that is really needed in the area here in District 5, since it's the largest district, is that we do have pockets of redevelopment, but we do need new housing. We need housing that revamp some of the areas out there that people have. And we don't want the adults and also the new generations coming in to lose their housing because it was inherited from their relatives, grandparents, or other family members. So the next thing that we have to do out there is we have to have a plan out there to go and make sure that they have places that can be restoring the houses. And also we have to think about other areas out there is looking at where can we go to get extra housing in the federal government. That is inclusive of looking at container homes and also areas out there that are in the northern areas of this area, right in the middle actually, of the area of the 5th district. So those are some areas that I think are very important to look about and we need, that's one of the areas we need.
All right, thank you, Kerry. Next set of questions, I'll start off to Naya. That's going to be, we're going to talk about this little ambitious question. So do the best you can here. How will you improve safe, accessible transportation options, including sidewalks, buses, and bikes in the district?
Adding the turn, which is going to be a huge safety improvement. In addition to, we have the Green Harbor, which is a project that we need to continue to fund. DAE are under construction right now, but that is it's wall-like, but also just to get people outside healthy on the greenway. That's going to be for 20 neighborhoods for 22 miles. Again, if you're riding your bike, to have a safe, accessible way to get to wherever it is that you're going. We have Route 1 already free. Let's continue to make it free. Add another bus route. Today, Route 1, the bus is actually full today. So that means that we need more buses. That means that it is actually needed and people are taking advantage of that. So continue to fund transportation and more transportation options, not just the bus, having different modalities of transportation so that we can move people from one place to the next. If we're going to continue to grow, transportation has to be a part of that. We can't just grow and consider how we're going to move people.
Thank you, Naya.
Jose Vasquez, the Brian candidate. We need to see the reality. Everything what she said is true. Some people don't lack of space. They got big corporations who take over of things. As a city council, the only thing they can do, I can promise to you, is look out how we can create a local resource. Right now it's in the news. They try to shut down the market. So what do I have to do must move around? Because of disappear. So we as a neighbors, we need to create a system for benefit.
there's definitely. This is actually one of the main portions of my platform that I'm very concerned about. I've been to meetings where I've heard about a new high-speed rail that was going to connect downtown to the airport. Wouldn't that be amazing? Or from downtown up to USM. But where is it? That was about 3 years ago that I heard about this. And it was a great big production, but it hasn't materialized. And there has been nothing so far that I've seen that has even been promising. We've also heard bright lines going. I call it an urban legend. It might be, but if that was able to come and get people off the roads, that's one of the biggest problems that I'm seeing even in our district. We have all of this congestion on I-275 and I-4. Then what's happening is people are coming in through the neighborhoods and they're trying to find quicker routes through our neighborhoods where our children are playing. It's not okay. So we definitely need some options. I would love to see high-speed rail. I would love to see better transportation options in general. I lived in New York City for about 13 years and I know it's possible. I know it can work. I've seen it.
Thank you. All right. Last set of questions to Tom DeGeorge to begin with. This is regarding community investment. District 5 contains almost all of the CRAs in the city of Tampa. I believe 6 of them here, which are, of course, intended to reinvest tax dollars back into the community. How would you ensure CRA budgets are used equitably to benefit longtime residents and businesses, not just new developments? Let's get that on.
Check.
There we go.
George, a lot of my platform is about proper distribution of wealth. I think when we look at development, a lot of the time we're seeing big dollars being spent on large development while we have marginalized neighborhoods that are still linked through sidewalks and proper streetlights and more bike lanes that we're talking about. So I would want to push for smaller development that is more mixed use, that can bring grocery stores, local grocery stores in the neighborhoods and areas like Belmont Heights and Jackson Heights. I just think that when you look at growth, you've got to start with those most marginalized neighborhoods and the bottom first and build up. And I think for a long time here in Tampa, we can start with these larger projects first where we have a lot of neighborhoods.
Thank you. Hi, John.
Can you repeat?
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking about CRAs, right? And so the idea is, how would you ensure CRA budgets are used equitably to benefit longtime residents and businesses, and not just new developments that are coming online?
And if people know that those funds are available, we have to deploy those funds in our community. And a lot of times it's a communication thing. The funds are there, but people don't know how to access them, or they don't know that they are there. So I think helping people understand that those funds are there more that are live in the community, local developers, local people who can really deploy those funds into our community. And then smart development is very important. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I have 30 more. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed the stop. Okay, and then streamlining the process of accessing the CRA funds, making sure that it doesn't change from application to application. I've seen that happen with people who are applying for CRAs. So it's not one size fits all. There's no one answer. The target kind of moves. So I would say streamlining the process a little bit more and making sure it is fair and equitable for everyone in our community.
Thank you.
The CRAs are pretty much different in almost every area because of the CAC, Citizen Advisory Committee. They determine how they want to expend those dollars, except for Tampa Heights. 74% of your money go towards development. 30% go towards affordable housing. And so the rest of the CRAs, the CAC, determine where they want those dollars to go in terms of housing, because like East Tampa, you can qualify up to $50,000 in down payment assistance for the East Tampa CRA. When I was on the board before, you could even get money for existing small businesses. And so the CAC, Citizen Advisory Committee, have a lot of input to where those dollars are spent, how they're spent, and they set up different types of programs so that existing residential
Okay, thank you, Bishop Scott. Okay, new question to Fran. We all know that your guy, whoever's elected, is not going to be able to get involved in this year's budget, but you will next year, right? So here's a question about the budget. If you're elected, what specific priorities would you advocate for in the budget to ensure investment support community-driven development in the district?
Structure, we're constantly going to be hit with hurricanes. I'm out door knocking, speaking to the community, and some are still coming, trying to get from under Hurricane Milton, which is sad. So I would advocate for more funding going toward infrastructure. We gotta get it up, and the areas that didn't flood, did flood. And that was bad, one of my areas. So I would have funding. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, okay. Dallas, go for it.
I would advocate for streets and sidewalks when you're there. I think that's important. I really, one of those things that I really think that is important also is public safety, lighting enhancements in certain areas, making sure that we can have proper lighting in the streets when going. And just making sure that we have the parks and the green infrastructure upgrades that need to be had in certain areas. So my advocacy really will make sure that we're pushing and making sure that the things that's in the budget is actually getting done. Because as we know, that the mayor don't have to do it, even though it's in the budget. But I disagree with us saying that. It need to be some kind of review of that charter to make sure that the mayor is doing what the city council has to be done for everyone to be taken care of. And I think that we need to make sure that whoever gets the next advocates strongly to making sure that it's just not allocating money, but looking and seeing progress. No one wants money with no progress.
Thank you.
Allison Hewitt, HewittWillDoIt.com.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you. So District 5 is made of very diverse communities. And so you need to make sure you're monitoring the budget of what's best for Silver Springs, East Tampa, all the way down to Helena Beach, over to Channel Side. But the thing is, you have to make sure that you're monitoring two budgets. Although the city budget cannot be changed once you turn it over, the CRA budgets can be modified. They can be changed and adjusted for projects. So you have to make sure you're not only making sure you're monitoring the city budget for each one of the areas in your district, but you also need to make sure the CRA budget, in which you can change and reprioritize during the year, because the CRA budget is governed by city council.
Okay, new question for Albert to start out with. This is about infrastructure. Roads, drainage, and public facilities were not designed for today's growth or extreme weather, as we've seen. With limited funds, what infrastructure investments would you prioritize, and how would you ensure they address both daily and long-term needs?
That's another great question. What we have to do is prioritize stormwater. With the last two hurricanes that we've had, our grounds have been saturated by water. So what's happening, that's how you get flooding. So in order for us to deal with that, we're going to have to work hard to get that water down and away from our homes and our structures so that there's no flooding. And one of the ways to do that is you have to hold developers accountable. So when they build a building or build a home, they have to follow through with drainage or stormwater. And then we have to follow up with them. We have to make sure that that's what they're doing. But if it does flood, then we have to go back and reevaluate what's happening so that our homeowners don't get flooded out and can stay in their homes. The last thing you want to do is have to move out and watch your furniture float down the street.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. So let's see. We're talking about infrastructure here. We know that a lot of our roads, obviously, were not designed for today's growth or the extreme weather we've endured. With limited funds, what infrastructure investments would you prioritize, and how would you ensure they address both daily and the long-term needs of the city and the district?
and focus on all parties on one side and us against the problem. We can do that by partnering with them to make sure that they have their community benefit agreement in place and that it addresses the impact concerns that come along with the development of their city. There will be impact, the wear and tear, that's a natural part of the process of developing. And we can make sure that they pay their impact fees to address those needs, strip back them to pay their fair share. And also, we can identify the capital improvement projects for the next 2 years, which will help us earn greater flood insurance and discounts. So those are the things that I think I would like to prioritize and look for.
Thank you.
Carrie West. One of the things out there is we've had some major changes, especially in District 5, is that we're building closer together. The housing out there, the houses were built because a lot of the area, up in the area that we live in East Tampa was smaller. And with people, they had the houses further apart. And it was a lot of agricultural area. So what they've done right now is now they're going and realigning the lots. Now they're building closer together into an area that's going to be more dense and it's going to be more flooded. We have to go through one of the first things. We don't have any out in our area. We don't have any kind of sidewalks, none in our area. And I would say a good portion in the area of District 5 does not have sidewalks. The guttering situation and also the going out there for gutters and also going out there for storm sewers, that's awful. I know the streets have probably within the last 5 years have just been paved over for the first time. This is the district. I was appalled.
All right. Thank you, Carrie. All right. Next question. Sorry. Okay. Tonight, small businesses. Okay, we're going to talk about that. Small businesses, obviously, they're obviously fuel a lot of the economy of the city, and they struggle at times. How would you use the city budget to strengthen small business growth and protect jobs in District 5? Yeah. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. How would you use the city's budget to strengthen small business growth and protect jobs in District 5?
So if we when we have contracts, it's not exactly part of the budget. I think it's important to put in there. If you are having a development that's coming into a space in the contract, you put it in there. If it's going to be a mixed space at the bottom, you have space for small businesses, or local business, or artist studio. For the budget, we have programs that are directed towards small businesses, but we have to make sure that that money is being spent in those programs and then continue to allocate and advocate for funds to go to those programs. In addition, one of the things that's been part of our platform from the beginning is collaboration. There's no one arm that can do everything. City can't do everything, county can't do everything, nonprofits can't do everything. We have to activate everybody so that we are making sure that we're moving forward and that we're progressing forward and everybody is included in that. So yes, we advocate for our programs that are in the budget that are specifically for small businesses. We're making sure that our developers are putting spaces in their neighborhoods that can have small businesses in their buildings, but we're also.
Thank you. Jose?
Jose Vasquez, right candidate. Small business. The key question here is why don't we do the name? And that's the first thing we need to do in this situation. We need to pay incentives to make sure this small business can afford the rent, pay the rent, or they can only pay the rent. Okay? After we go through that process, we need to create more incentives to guarantee the person they hire, they can have a good salary. And of course, we need to create more safety protection programs for the community feel safe for investors come back to the district. It's shame how the district recognizes the high costs. A lot of people want to open business because that's a question. So we need to combine with these to make sure our small business persons come back and the new ones grow.
Thank you.
In my time at Pinellas, I was working as a district, and one of the things that we would do is we would go and meet with a lot of manufacturers. I also was able to meet with a lot of manufacturers actually bring to the county, but they're not in the district. And the reason that they're having problems extending and existing in our area is because of the lack of trained labor. We need to increase and expand the number of laborers that are available, trained laborers, especially in enterprise. I was able to meet with folks who they were trying, it was just we're trying to increase the number of businesses that would invest in our public schools to bring in the auto mechanic trade, to bring in electric trades, things like that. Our trades are our future in a lot of ways, and I think they've gotten the short shrift over the years. But it's an opportunity for so many young people to actually get well-paying jobs that are not going to be outsourced to AI anytime soon. It's an option that we need to take advantage of. I don't know if that's.
Okay, thank you. All right. Hey, want to tell the candidates, if you can, make sure to talk right into the mic, make sure nice and loud. Okay, Tom to George, last set of questions starting with you. Let's talk about land use, which is what the city council does a lot of, actually. How would you manage zoning in Tampa's historic neighborhoods to balance preservation of neighborhood character with the city's housing and density needs?
Well, I think I'd want to inventory the land use to see where there's plots where we could do city-owned affordable housing that would match the historic fiber of each one of those areas. We're struggling for affordable housing, with a lot of larger development that's going up doesn't quite look like those areas. So I think having that land trust for affordable housing in those areas is something I'd like to push forward and advocate.
Sure. Yeah. How would you manage zoning in Tampa's historic neighborhoods to balance the preservation of neighborhood character with the city's housing and density needs?
As one option to make sure you manage that and support what the community wants and the desires are. Really holding to that. When people come before city council and requesting development in certain things, making sure we stick with the rules and not making exceptions for certain people or certain interest groups. So I think that's the best way to manage it. And thank you, Joanna, over.
Thank you.
That is one of the primary functions of city council. They come before anybody in terms of zoning. Number one, staff makes a presentation. Have to make sure that they comply with the comprehensive plan, which is a key document. And secondly, the overlay of that district. Does it comply, compare with the overlay in that district? And so once someone comes and asks for a variance, you do not have to grant that variance if it does not comply with the overlay and with the zoning for that area, particularly for your historic district, which are very important for this area in particular and some other areas. So again, it is a primary function of city council. That is zoning, budget and licensing, and that sort of thing. Right. But primarily, I've been at 2:30 in the morning zoning issues.
Sounds like fun. All right. That's going to be it for those round of questions. Thank you all. Okay, now we're going to go to a new phase here. We're going to do the whole thumbs up, thumbs down with your little signs here. So this will be a visual. So I'll make sure to count these because it might be tough for some of the folks to see all of these. Okay, so we're going to do about a dozen questions or so, or 11 questions, and just yes or no, you'll indicate with your little sign here. Okay, first question. Are you a member of your civic association? Let's see. So we've got 2, let's see, 3, 4, 5. I see 7, I think. All right. Tom, can you point towards me? Okay, 7. I think it said 7 to 5 there, I think, roughly. Okay. Number 2. Have you lived in District 5 for the last 2 years consecutively? Okay. Joanna, can I see your card? Okay, good. Okay, everybody's all good there. All right. Everybody says they have been here the last 2 years. Okay, number 3. Do you support further expansion of I-275 or I-4 through central Tampa? Okay, so let's see here. Okay. All right, come on now. Ariel, what are we seeing here? It is, okay, but, okay, we see one, oh, I think we just one thumbs up. The rest are all negative there, okay? All right, would you commit to dedicating a greater share of Tampa's budget to resilience projects like flood protection, wind mitigation, and extreme heat mitigation, even if it means reducing funding in other areas? So think about that. Everybody says they would. Elvis, what are you doing? All right, thumbs up. Peer pressure. Okay. Let's see, number 6 here. Should Tampa implement participatory budgeting for neighborhoods? I didn't write this question. Do you want to say?
Participatory budgeting is when a portion of the budget is allocated for neighborhoods and neighborhoods get to help choose the way that portion is spent. So it's not the entire budget, but a portion of it.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, everybody's thumbs up on that. All right. Thank you for the explanation there. Okay, next, should Tampa's historic district guidelines be updated to include sustainability and climate resilience standards? Yeah. Should Tampa's historic district guidelines be updated to include sustainability and climate resilience standards? Okay, I think everybody's all in agreement on that one. All right, yes, I should say. Okay. Do you support increasing funding for expanding transit options in the city, even if it requires shifting money from other areas of the budget? Albert, what are you doing? What do you think? I know, okay. All right, come on. All right, yes, okay. All right, thank you. Do you believe Tampa should encourage more mixed-use transit-oriented development in District 5? Okay, everybody's agreeing on all these. Okay, number 10, do you support maintaining current non-discrimination ordinances preventing discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, gender identity, and/or gender expression in employment, housing, and public accommodations? Yeah, okay, everybody I think said yes on that. Okay, no, did I miss one? Okay. Have you interviewed, or just, interviews kind of formal, have you discussed, talked with any current Tampa City Council members in preparation for the chance that thought that you might be a city council member? Okay, Jose has not. Everybody else? Of course, Tom Scott has been one himself. Okay, all right, talk with yourself there. Okay, and the last question here, have you attended at least one full city council meeting since announcing your candidacy? All right, come on, be honest here. Okay, it's about half and half, I think. Okay, is that fair? Okay, all right, thank you so much for that. Okay, so, okay, now we're going to ask, if you can remember now, we did, of course, do those series of questions when we go ask 3, of you at one time. So many of you missed some of the other questions. This is where we give you the opportunity to start with you, Fran. One of the questions that we asked earlier that you didn't get a chance to weigh in on, if you recall that. It might be hard to recall that right now. A minute, 1 minute to respond. No, go ahead.
Fran Tate, I would like to address accountability and transparency. There are oftentimes developers are going to other areas, speaking of their projects and leaving out certain areas. And I'm talking about the northern end of East Tampa. We don't get the meetings with the developers. So I'm insisting that developers come to the East Tampa areas, Jackson Heights, Rainbow Heights, Fair Oaks, Sulphur Springs. Come with your plan. Do not overlook us. We are here. We are here.
All right, thank you. Elvis?
All right, the question, I guess, use this one. The question that I would like to address is really the CRA.
Yeah.
The CRAs, you talked about the big developers versus the neighborhoods. The CRAs are originally designed for neighborhoods development and to take in white individuals in those neighborhoods. And it is very clear since the CRAs has been created, CRAs have not worked for the neighborhoods, and it has not been the neighborhoods have not been getting what they deserve. And in the real reality, we constantly talk about these CRAs that we've established, but the people that live in the community and the people that are in the small businesses, whether it's developers in the community, they are left out every time. We need representation that will make sure that we kill all the red tape for the people that is actually in the communities. And then there's no red tape for those that big developers outside the community. And so they get all 7 yeses quickly while the neighborhood is required to do so much more. And so we want to get rid of that red tape and make sure that people see our work properly.
Thank you. All right, Allison.
Allison Hewitt.com. It is a CRA for me as well.
Okay.
So every CRA has a community development plan. The Tampa Heights Community Development Plan update will be on tomorrow's agenda for the CRA. My challenge is how are they following the plan? If they follow the plan, which was created by the community, then you would have a balance of development. But rather, the staff waits for development to happen in this area and not following the plan. So example, is your update, and included in the update here for Tampa Heights, is not an update of what you have done since you started, where the money has gone, what the investment has, and that is consistent around all the CRPs, community redevelopment plans in the CRA. So if they were to follow the plan and monitor the plan and not let the development happen to us, but we actually implement the plan that was created by the community, it would be a community development and not development happening to us.
Thank you. Okay, somebody get Elwood a mic there.
Cook, leadership in action. I want to talk about economic growth. We have to start stepping outside the box. Just recently, Israel opened a drone company that is going to hire 150 people over the next 3 years. Did anyone know about this? Over in District 5, we need to find out when these things are planned and how we can bring that business to our area. We have to think outside the box. We have to think globally. We have to think about letting the world know that D5 is available and willing and wants business in our area. We also need to let them know that we have to be responsible and community oriented. Also, we want to let them know that we have hardworking, reliable, smart workforce that has earned the right to have higher wages and great benefits. Also, we have to have trained our people so that they can do those jobs. So if we do those things, we can now bring economic.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
The question that I want to answer is the one. So our most pressing need, and our most pressing need, I believe, is the fact that sometimes we are so passionate about the city, everybody, so passionate about Tampa, we're so passionate about District 5, and sometimes that passion is frustration. And so I want to make sure that what we're missing is the voice that brought the people to the seat with us. That's the legacy I want to continue that I'm going to brought to the table. We didn't get enough time. We only got 15 months. We need to continue time with that version of leadership. And that's what I'm excited to continue to execute for you. I cannot wait to talk to my neighbors. Mr. Owen, Cedric, Mr. Cedric, Ms. Lockett, all the things I know that I don't know. I can't wait to be on so that I can bring your voice to the dais for me. I'm so excited and I know.
Thank you, Art.
Terry was going to be about the facilities of transportation.
Okay.
You know, transportation is the way life. And that's for people that don't have any transportation. Though we do everything, we have lift, we have disability transportation. But listen, the transportation system that we do have today in the bus lines and also alternative areas right now, it needs to be updated so badly that people, they can't be left when they have to go get medicine, they have to go to the doctors, they have to go to maybe to school, they have to go and get transportation. This is just one way to give them independence. And that's very, very clear on my chart. And transportation is one way I really believe we're going to be strongly advocating.
Thank you. Naya?
I have two questions I want to address. One question is what will we prioritize in next year's budget? A part of my platform from the beginning has always been youth. I want to make that very clear. Even when it was said that youth was not something we need to focus on, I had the opportunity to go to a career source ceremony where I watched these young people, not just teenagers, but all the way up to the age of 29, that had went through this training. So they have jobs in web design, at the hospital, in engineering. They went through these programs. But our future is in our youth. We want to know how are we going, who's going to do this, who's going to do that. It's going to be the youth. We have to invest in them. So I would absolutely prioritize them. In addition to that, there's also a question about how we use land use for housing.
Yeah.
It's not just one type of housing. You have to make sure that we have land use regulations so that we can have mixed use housing, that we can have ADUs, that we can have townhomes, that we can have the middle homes. We have to make sure that we have different types of housing so that we can cater to all people, whether it be young people, whether it be seniors that are on fixed income, whether it be single parents or families. That's how we address the housing.
Thank you.
Well, Jose Martin, your candidate. I go to respond a little bit over, especially CI.
Jose, can you talk more in the mic, please?
Yes. Are you hearing me?
Sound better.
Okay. I'm going to address a few things and answer all the questions. Okay? What I want to do with the CI. Number one, I didn't get that as a public official. But I'm being selected from a lot of elected officials to serve on my knowledge. Okay? It's very important. Second, housing is important. Everybody here is important. Important. Well, it's more important if the people get out and vote. Because if we do not increase the numbers, how serious the mayor going to see the decisions for me to make a district number 5? So please get out and vote. And for last for the CIs, I have news for all of you. March 21, 2025, Tampa monitoring.com published a possibility CIA gone away. That's sad. Whatever we're planning right now, the CIA is going to disappear. We cannot be again.
Okay, thank you.
On that first again, I wanted to respond to the question about what budget. For me, I think it's got to come out that we paramount consideration, I guess, to law enforcement and making sure that our communities are safe. If we don't have safe communities, we're not going to have investment. If we don't have safe communities, we're not going to have people living in and contributing to the CRA funds. If we don't have safe communities, businesses are not going to be developing. Businesses are not going to grow. It all sort of crumbles if we don't take care of our communities. So I had an opportunity to speak to Chief Burkholm about the community policing initiative. And I am fully supportive of that, and I want to see that continue. But that does mean that we need to have officers on the ground. They need to know their community. It's not just that they're doing drive-bys, essentially, or sitting in a car with a blacked-out window so you don't actually know if anybody's in there or not. They need to be walking the streets, knowing the community, knowing the business owners, and able to interact and engage. So it's not some random person coming through the neighborhood. It's they know exactly who it is.
All right, thank you. Tom? Yes.
So talk about supporting local. As a local business owner, I want to see as much of the local business support and enough support for local artists as humanly possible. So I'd like to see better communication with our small business liaison, our locals to be more transparency on what's available to them. And I'd like to increase grant opportunities for local businesses as well as local artists. I'd like to see more small development grants going out. I have a lot of people talking to me that they weren't able to get these grants for these smaller developments for neighborhoods that really need that small mixed use space that's got a local grocery store. And I'd also like to see with larger development more incentives to seek out local support.
We have a beautiful city here. District 5, I believe, is the heart and soul of it. And some of that is it's great. It needs to be enhanced in certain areas, but what we don't need is for people that have been waiting for help for years to be forced out and not have the opportunity for them to expansion of those neighborhoods. It starts locally.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne. I think something mentioned about safe transportation. I don't remember the exact question, but it's something to do with that.
Yeah.
I want to see more public transportation. Really want to see what's for the greater good of the community. If people can't get back and forth to work, then there's a download and domino effect from that. So we have to make sure we have enough public transportation in order for people to be able to get back and forth to work. And then secondly, I look at this as a mode of transportation, right? People that walk. And in areas where we don't have sidewalks, and people are walking in the street with strollers because there is no sidewalk. So for the greater good of the area, I think we should try towards safe modes of transportation. And then finally, I'm going to add this to the area really is our seawall over at Palmetto Beach. That is in disarray. We need to prioritize fixing that seawall. If we have a severe enough hurricane, that is going to wipe out a number of people homes over there. So that is what I'd like to see prioritized.
They just have your attention. It's important to understand that affordable housing, transit, economic development are all intertwined. Second, they have to all be working with every time you build a house for a house, you build a garage, either one or two. More traffic on our roads. 1980, when I came, I got around 4 hours on the person up there. But now you get around 4, so a lot of people up there. The other thing I would point out is transit is going to continue to be an issue for Tampa until you pass a 1 cent tax, which you have already here, because that's the way. Barack Obama brought $2 billion here in 2008 now for the high-speed rail. Rick Scott turned it away because Barack was a Democrat. We were road with light rail, light speed rail, all the back.
Right. Thank you, John. Okay, so now we're going to go to take some of the audience questions here. And we've got a few here. I think I want to do this a little differently. I don't think we're going to ask the same question of all of you, but maybe half we'll start out with. So let's start with Tom Scott, actually. Let's change this around a little bit. So we're going to go with you. This is about transportation, actually. Okay, so let's go. I'll go with the first 6, starting from Tom Scott, going this way towards me. So this question talks about Commissioner Josh Lostel and Representative Michael Owen want to give heart back to the city. You might have seen this news in the last 24 hours or so. Are you for the proposal? And if you aren't familiar with this, basically, I might make sure I get this right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, Tom, I want to stop. I'm sorry. Is that Ash Dudney here? I was told. Yeah. You want to get up here? Come on up here. We have a candidate who qualified, did the hard work. At least he should be able to come on up here and take some questions. All right. All right. Good to see you. Okay, so Tom, we'll give you a chance again. Again, just to remind to the audience, if you don't know this, this came out, I think Tampa Bay Business Journal published this last 24 hours. We're talking about transportation and heart, and I believe that the proposal, which would be in the legislature, would be to basically only have the funding coming from the city of Tampa for transportation, basically for heart, right, for buses. So what do you think about that? Start off with you.
Transportation, bus service, and there's no public system in the United States that operates without public assistance and support. There's no public system in the United States that operates on its own without public.
That's right.
Okay, so it will not survive without the county as a county. And so I'm telling you, that we trying to fight that because.
Okay. Yeah, Michael Owen, Representative Owen. Okay, thank you. All right, Joanna.
My initial answer is that we can't support it on our own. I've never seen it done in different cities that I have lived in, so I can't imagine that it would work here. However, what I would say is I would be interested in knowing how they feel like they can suffice. I don't have enough information to see how they would be saying that is possible, but I would not support it. I can't imagine that the city can't support that on the transportation.
Right. Okay. Tom DeGeorge.
I did see that story with us, and I would vehemently oppose it. I honestly don't understand why those liberal lawmakers would propose it, other than trying to make life more difficult for areas of the city that truly need help getting around. I feel like it's an attack on certain neighborhoods, and if we're talking about public transportation, and we're having those kind of conversations, I feel like it's a bully move, and I would vehemently oppose it. I think it's horrible.
Great. Okay, Audette.
I'm not for this idea, but I think there has to be a great deal of advocacy for our city with these lawmakers. They need to understand that it actually could work. And I feel like that's kind of the conversation that we keep getting into, is that, especially with the state, they don't believe it. We've had a number of incidents over the years where the has been on the chopping block and has been unfortunately under scrutiny for bad management or problematic issues internally. But the reality is that if Tampa's going to grow, we need real, reliable transportation options, because not everybody needs to be a car. It's just going to create more congestion.
Right.
Down.
Yeah. All right. Jose, what do you think?
Jose, back to the prior candidate. If you go to Puerto Rico, you see one is a bill of public transportation supported by public voters. I mean, people like you and me. When we're talking about small business, etc. I'm going to tell them, really, the city of Tampa got to create their own system because we got to create jobs. We got to take control of whatever the county or the state of Florida imposed to us case of paper. I wanted to get a chance to create that city public transportation for benefit of, because we put a lot of money on it and we don't be well represented on that.
Naya?
So we have an issue called displacement. So many families who live in the city now live out into the county. And they may still have to go to school here, but they have jobs here. How are they going to get here? Transit is important for everybody. Everybody needs transit. I lived in DC for a while. You can take the train or the bus from the middle of DC all the way back to Prince George's County if you could get to, and even further. It was reliable, and you knew that something was coming. I had a car when I lived in DC. Ended up being in a car accident. I didn't need my car because you could take the bus, you could take the train, you could ride a bike, you could walk if you wanted to. There's different modalities of transportation. You cannot just say, oh, we're not going to have transportation. No, there are people all over the county that we have displaced that still have jobs and still need to get into the city, and it would be a crime for us to limit that to those people.
Okay, we'll stop it there. New question. We're going to start with Ash over on this side. Starting with you, is the Mayor Castor, doing right by stormwater? Is basically the question. She's got a new, proposal out right now. I believe $39 million roughly. Do you like her program, or do you think that it should be addressed in a different way to address our many stormwater needs we have here in Tampa?
I mean, I guess time will tell if her approach is even remotely close enough. I mean, the sea isn't getting any lower. The storms aren't going to get any weaker. So as far as approach to the storm, I'm not super familiar with what just came out on that front, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, I mean, reapproaching our entire stormwater system as well. That's one thing earlier when I was listening back there. When it does come to flooding, we could also approach it with some more environmentally friendly choices when it comes to landscaping yards and whatnot, which will help reduce that flooding from the get-go.
Okay, thank you.
3 minutes maybe. Yes, I appreciate what the mayor has done. She's allocated funding towards stormwater, making it, strengthening it. She's brought in generators, she's brought in a response team. She's thinking of bringing in more, but at this point, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Because she is concerned about all of the hurricanes and the flooding that took place in areas where it should not have taken place at all.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The questions in my please.
Yes, the mayor's unveiled some new funding for this. Is it the right plan?
We'll see. I hope that we don't wait for these things happen. We want to make sure that we tackle these things year round. We don't want to wait till storms come and then jump into this and start rescue. I will hope that what the mayor's doing is not a temporary fix, but it's a permanent issue that we need to address. Got to stop patching things up and actually do permanent things.
Thank you.
Allison Hewitt, HewittWillDoIt.com. This plan needs to also include a business plan for maintenance. We need to make sure that we are not just putting things out there to address an issue, and it may happen, but we cannot do it if we're already having clogged pipes and the ability to flow water. So it has to be done in 2 parts. The money to be able to address stormwater and flooding issues, and also the maintenance of current storm. And it needs to be a plan, and it's also worked through with the neighborhood and the neighborhood associations, because those are the homes that are flooded. So if we have a 2-part plan of, yes, we need to invest in the current infrastructure, we also need to have a plan for maintenance.
Thank you. Albert, again, you've got a microphone.
Albert Cook. Morning. Albert Cook, Leadership in Action. I don't think 39 million is enough. We have people who are being flooded out because of our weather. This is very important, but more importantly, we have to start taking, as citizens, we need to start taking action to prevent flooding. I don't know if everybody knows this, but there's been thousands of tons of debris taken from our stormwater system that we could have easily changed by just picking up trash that's in front of our homes, rather than letting it flow down into the system and blocking things. Stormwater distributes water or rain into those areas and allows them to go into the soil. And when it gets saturated, that's when we have problems. But we must deal with blockage. Thank you.
We're not going to get anywhere playing tit for tat with our mayor. It is a mayor-led city, and I want to focus on being collaborative and keeping an open mind and an open ear. She's proposing massive infrastructure, massive budget allocation as it relates to infrastructure. So let's give it a chance. If you go down to Palmetto, the fear in those residents' eyes as it relates to that seawall is real. And so let's get to work. Let's absolutely let the budget, let those funds flow where they may, so that we can get to work preparing the infrastructure of our city. But what I also saw as a young person right now on social media, on Instagram, is our mayor calling it Team Tampa. Team Tampa, she was out fixing the generators and clearing out storm drains. And she was saying, hey, if you see something, pick it up. If you see something, if you don't have the ability to pull it out and pick it up yourself, give us a call. So it's something we all need to link arms in and hold hands in and lean on ours of each other. The person saying to the left and the right foot and not.
Thank you, Ariel.
Carrie West, the things that we have to think about is right now we don't have any hurricanes coming through, but we're still flooding and all over the district in our area, down South Tampa, down in so many areas. So what we're going to do to concentrate this area? This is a year-round effort, and 39 million is not going to. It's going to be a start, but I'll tell you what, it's going to take an awful lot of money because some of these pipes that are out there are over 75 to 100 years old, and that's going to be taken over 3 times that amount. So that at least maybe even 5 times that amount.
Okay, thank you, Carrie. All right, new question. Naya, we'll start with you. This is very, somebody in the community talking about the community here, Tampa Heights. This person writes, Tampa Heights is a community that gives. We give space, time, food, shelter, and other resources to support Tampa's growing population of humans who do not have homes. But we cannot do this alone. What are your thoughts on other areas of Tampa, quote, sharing the love?
So. Not or the obligation on one neighborhood. We have to cooperate. Again, collaboration is at the forefront of everything. We have to work together. If we want to move District 5 forward together, we have to work together. That comes with having the hard conversations. That comes with having the community meetings. That comes with having the town hall say, okay, here's the issue at hand. How do we address it? Where do we have space?
Thank you, Mike. Jose.
Jose Vasquez, to right camera. I wanted to tell you, I was the vice president of it was the Corazon Inc. And I'm the security consultant. Well, my nonprofit too is help on disaster relief. That's what we do. Volunteer, another one thing. So what we can do on this side of the town is support the nonprofits who want to serve the community and the neighbors. Okay? So many of the nonprofits not succeed because they don't got the fundings or they don't got the volunteers. And I want to challenge everybody to go to serve the community emergency response team and take that.
Okay, thank you.
I think one of the big issues that was brought up is public-private partnerships. The government is usually the worst provider of services. I mean, if you've gone to the DMV, you know what I mean. But if we can find ways to effectively and efficiently connect with our local providers, Metropolitan Ministries is a great one, but they're not enough. We need local churches, we need local community banks, food banks to all get involved, because it's not, as we all know, it's not just about non-capital plan. There's also mental health issues, there's veterans issues. We need the entire community.
Same question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at our climate, the homeless population is not going to go away. And when you look at the affordable housing situation, some of the people that become homeless had homes and they don't have them anymore because they've been displaced. So we have to work with those nonprofits. We have to have better communications. Obviously, the Heights can't always be the area that takes care of that. The Metropolitan Ministries was mentioned, Hope was mentioned. We also have to look into the public safety budget so we can differentiate who's just homeless, who has mental health issues, who needs to be put in an area where they can actually get the help they need. Because right now, I don't feel like there's a differentiation between the homeless, people that are mentally ill, and people that are vagrants that perhaps.
Thank you, Tom.
Joanna Hoover, and a lot of people talked about public-private partnerships, and that is exactly what I have the experience in, and that's what I have done in other areas. So, for example, when, let's say larger companies, when they're coming to the area, a lot of times they are asked, what can they do for the community? Where do we want them to invest in? So a lot of times it's us as a community to have to figure out, what do we want? What is our ask from the business, from the corporation? Because they want to invest in our community, but we have to corral and be in agreement on what we want. And there are different ways to do that. And so I would say.
Thank you, Joanne.
Homelessness is a big issue for our community, not just Tampa Heights. Last night, I'd like to go as Centennial Park, Randy Centennial down by the city, in case you don't know. There are at least 25 or 30 homeless people down there trying to keep from getting away. You could drive almost any part about homelessness. People need that. It's sad to see the kind of condition that we see in any person. And when I was on the kind of commission, we gave a lot of millions of dollars to this coalition to help with that issue.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's go back to Ash for another question. New question here. This is being more biographical. actually two parts. This, just try to respond to one part of it, but I'll give you two parts. Identify key initiatives you've already been successful in achieving, or how does your past professional experience align or support your ability to work with the current city staff?
I'll do my best to answer this on a handful of pretzels from 3 p.m. I mean, my main thing that I bring is an expanded perspective than over most. I mean, I've got a small family business that I took over that was on the complete brink of collapse. We flat out announced that we were going out of business, and I managed to turn it around with a 550 credit score and a $3,000 deficit. You know, there wasn't some magic other than busting your ass and thinking creatively. So I'd like to think if we bring some of that same energy to what's going on, and you just bring it down to ethical solutions as well as budget sound options, then that's how you get shit done.
Thank you.
Briante, a key initiative that I worked on was shelters, bus shelters for 34th Street. I held an interview with a newspaper and went on a walk and talked about the lack of bus shelters in the area. That's North 34th Street, Martin Luther King, up in the area where I reside. So out of that, I received 2 bus shelters on North 34th Street. I kept advocating because I'm close my mouth. I'm always advocating. I kept advocating and received 21 more bus shelters that are coming to East Tampa.
All right.
And I'm on the CRA in East Tampa, so I'm solidly working with the city council. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would say that in 19 years of pastoral right here in the city, working with elected officials, communicating with elected officials, advocating, championing the issues of our community, our neighborhoods, allows me to be able to be effective and efficient in getting jobs done. And in these 19 years, I have been very on hands to communicate, have access to them. And again, as I said, championing the issues, advocating. And so I think the collaboration piece will help me be efficient and effective in this role.
Allison Hewitt, HewlettWillDoIt.com. I proposed and wrote the pre-development program for the CRA. And that was making sure that it was in alignment with state statute 163 to make sure it was a legal program to implement in CRAs. And what I've done is I managed to work $5 million budget with the state of Florida, implementing Trump Force Florida economic development throughout the state. Also sat on Heart as a chair and made sure I managed that budget for 6 years. As well as making sure that I had a contract with to run the CRAs in Benton County with the Central Economic Development Center to implement CRA initiatives in Benton County.
My name is Albert Cook, Leadership in Action. I started my business 22 years ago with a credit card with Dream. So what I bring to the table is self-determination, self-discipline, problem solving, time management, and more importantly, leadership. And I also adaptability. I can work with just about anybody and yield a solution as soon as possible. Thank you.
My name is Ariel Danny. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 11 years. When I crossed our university stage, I went on Sundays. I filled it out for my LLC, and I have renewed it every year. And I have had 12 to 24 months worth of 24 months worth of resources in my coffer at all times since being an entrepreneur. And my mom and I owned Black English bookstore for the past 21 months. We spent $35K to open it. On the opening weekend, I didn't walk up to her until after we cleared 35K, and that's when I said, Molly, we have a successful bookstore. I actually paid our rent and Rochelle Cross sitting in the audience right there. We run the business in this community. Community engagement will be my priority as well. I can't wait to hear.
Okay, we're going to do a new question now, actually. Carrie, what's the largest challenge small businesses are facing in District 5, and what will you do to help them alleviate that? The biggest challenge that small businesses have in this district.
One of the things I think that they have that
Is your mic on?
One of the things that they have in Civic is that the heat in the summertime in the area here kills the business of all summer. And so really you can take off 6 months because there's nobody around. And that's what a lot of the businesses that then when I got down here, they just took off. One of the things out there, and many things they have to do out there is to just really work it out. You have to save the money through the year and then you actually down the businesses closed down. They did that for a long time.
Thank you, Kerry. Naya.
So I think there's a few, one, just finding a space that doesn't have a maintenance astronomical. In addition to also just having the resources. The city has a bunch of resources available, but how are we getting that information out? And also how are we following up with those small businesses to make sure that they have everything that they need? Yes, we're putting out grants for small business, but who is helping the businesses that need that assistance, our mom and pops, to fill out those grants? Who's coming back and saying, hey, how are you doing it without a, do you need a permit for something? The permitting process, especially if you're a small business owner or your first business, it can be a lot to get through. So some people need to provide that extra assistance to them. So how are we doing that and make sure that our small businesses are able to thrive?
Thank you. Yeah, biggest challenge for a small business to overcome in the district to be successful.
Based on my experience, because I've been selected to work in different departments, I can tell you, for one business to succeed, they need our full support. And the first thing we need to do is control the mismanagement of the different departments of the city of Tampa. Okay. Code enforcement. Okay. Economic development. We need to get the guidance for these entrepreneurial people, small business, stay on the city, stay on the district. We need to change the guidance for they should see.
Okay, thank you.
That are small businesses, one of the things I see is that there's a lack of consistency that they're experiencing, whether it's lack of consistency in terms of people coming in or they're only able to be open certain hours of the day, certain days of the week. So even certain consumers would come over and they wouldn't be able to receive from that business because it's not open. So I think it's partially. It's what I mentioned earlier is that there needs to be security. There needs to be an understanding that it is a safe and equitable place to invest your money so that business owners will continue to do so.
Thank you. So keep same question.
No, I can tell you, as a 19-year small business owner, it has never been easy and it never got harder than it did during the pandemic. I felt like we were really left on our own. And if I hadn't fought for that Civil Stages grant with the National Public Revenue Association and got the federal funding from the government, I wouldn't be here still as a business owner right now. Inflation, development, poor communication from the city, lackluster small business liaison. I mean, I talked about support for local earlier. It's on my agenda. It's super important because we don't have that.
Thank you.
Joanna covered two things I would say are most pressing for small businesses is affordability of space. And the secondly is streamlining the permitting process for different things. There's so many businesses who I have spoken with that have complained about the process and being given different information by different people that come out and give to provide the permit. So I would say those are the greatest needs. And with that, I'm also going to say a small business is actually throwing me an event. So I do have to leave. I apologize for that. But I wanted to share with everyone that I didn't leave for that event there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Having adequate resource. You don't have money, you can't go out and buy what you need to operate the function. If you don't have the resource to hire staff, you will have trouble.
Yeah.
The scripture says, money answers all things. You need money, resource, to operate and to function.
Okay, a question. Let's go to Ash again. Start out with your question. This is a public safety question. Answer the best way you can. You're not law enforcement here, but the question is, this comes from somebody who's lived in the area for 12 years, and the individual asks, "What is the plan to make District 5 safe for children?"
Pretty good one. I mean, safer in general for starters. I think a lot of what has been talked about this evening as far as improving your roads and sidewalks, bike lanes, stuff like that. Better illumination for the streets also. I mean, that all kind of goes hand in hand. So it depends on which element of child safety you're talking about. If it's kind of just safety being able to go out and play, there's the beat cop thing is another great thing. In Louisville Metro Department, Police Department's done a really great job since the protests of turning around and doing barbershop talks and whatnot.
Thank you.
One more time, the question.
Yeah, for kids, how do we make it safer for kids in this district?
Orientate. I would suggest in constant verbiage with Chief Burkall, I would suggest that police officers come out and create a friendship or a mentorship program with our youth. Let them know you don't have to fear me and act upon that. Be kind to them. Games, sports, all that stuff energizing, but make them feel like you care about them, you want to serve and protect them. It's the relationship. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would say, make it safer for kids. That's a good question. I would think that, we want to make it safer for everyone. We'll make it safe for the kids. I think proper policing in our communities, but community police is important. And a little bit to piggyback off of that, making sure that our police are more visible in our communities. And so I think visibility make it more safe. But I am a strong opponent of making sure that we have accountability within our law enforcement.
Thank you.
Allison Hewitt, HewittWillDoIt.com. So because of diversity in District 5, District 5 also has several different police substations. We make sure that we work with the neighborhood associations who are the parents of the children, because one program will not fit all. What works in Silver Springs may not work in West Kent. So I would make sure that the community policing in each one of the area is working very closely with the neighborhood associations and the parents in those neighborhoods to create the community policing that works for each community.
Thank you.
Alvin Cook, Leadership in Action. I'm chairman of TPD's Chiefs Advisory Panel, and I attended the preschool or before school event. They've increased cameras, and the biggest worry they have is young people on the internet. So what they started doing was they started retraining the school resource officer and any officer that is on the campus to make sure they understand what's happening and make themselves available. So TPD and Chief Burkhardt is addressing the issue.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arlen. And the artist simply wants to point out that beautification and safety go hand in hand. So when we use our CRA dollars for beautification of our neighborhoods, clear out our sidelines, make sure our bus stops and our street corners are well lit. That would serve our underserved community, our underserved parts of District 5 very well. We need to listen, and our strategy needs to be balanced. We need to invest in mental health programs and resources, and also to continue to invest in the de-escalation training and have more collaboration between organizations that already exist so that we build the relationship.
Okay, new question. I'm going to ask this of all 12 of you right now. And so be quick. Boom. Starting with you, Carrie. Have you ever ridden the bus in Tampa?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever commuted to work by bicycle?
No.
Okay. Naya, to you. The bus? How about the bike? Ever take the bike to work? Okay, that counts. Not the question, but that counts. Jose, the question to you. Have you ever rode the bus here, Park Bus in Tampa?
Yes.
How about biking? Have you ever biked? Annette, to you. Okay. Okay. Tom, have you rode a Heart bus anytime recently? Ever, actually?
I've ridden the bus, and I've ridden travel, and I've rode with my motorcycle, and with my motorcycle. It is.
Okay.
Get on the bus, spend a whole day on the bus, going to different routes, and also, I don't ride a bicycle now, but I used to ride a bicycle.
Okay. Ash, what about you? Taking the bus before?
Yeah, taking the bus, ride my bike pretty frequently, walking off a lot. Yeah, all of it.
Okay. Fran Tate.
Brandon Tate, yes, I have constantly rode Route number 5, traveling to Martha Cancer Center, my job, and then Route number 1. I've been riding that lately, and I enjoy it. It's free.
All right. Elvis.
Yes and yes, and I understand now, your dad is rich.
Allison Hewitt.
Yes, to ride on the bike was not to work, it was between my mother's house and my aunt's house.
Okay, great. Albert?
Yes, I've ridden Route 1. My business is inspection, so it's impossible for me to use a bike to do what I do. But I do use a green spine. I ride from my home to the gym, Crunch in Channelside. Then I go to the Publix. I just recently did that. Rode the bike to Publix, rode my bike to the Ybor post office and back home. And I made it safely, folks.
All right. What's to tell?
So I used to roll away down this street to go to Joni Mitchell's social work office and file paperwork in alphabetical order. That was my test. I ride my golf cart all over the city. I ride in at least 3 blocks up to Block English. I have taken the bus. I've actually taken work from Tampa Heights to West Shalom. And I use my phone when I have to, but that golf cart, you just charge it. You just need to take it.
All right, great. Okay, maybe 2 questions before we close it all out. Let's go to Tom Scott. Let's go down the end and come back. This is a question. What is Tampa's strong mayor system intended to do, and what is it not intended to do, if you will?
This strong mayor system is designed to give the mayor the power, veto power, be the function and the key to operate and run, to administer the things that are passed by the board of the city council, the resolutions, the ordinances, and so the administration, the mayor runs all of them. City council does not have a staff other than the aide.
Right.
Okay, and so everything is under the mayor's administration. However, one of the things city council have to understand, we all on the same team. The mayor works for the city of Tampa, city council works for the city of Tampa, but for the people who elected them to vote, and they need to learn that we gotta work together to solve the problem of the city.
Thank you. Let's just jump around here. This will be the last question. Ash, back to you now. On Tampa, what's the Tampa strong mayor system of government intended to do? What is it not intended to do?
Well, in theory, it's meant to streamline and to make, faster decisions on behalf of the city. In practice, it tends to overwhelm what a lot of the city wants quite often. So, in my personal opinion, I'd be a big fan of whoever's coming up in this next mayoral race to go ahead and commit to returning some of that power back down the ladder. Would be an awful kindness to them, if you will.
Okay, Fran, to you.
The mayor is the executive branch, and the city council is the legislative branch. And Reverend Scott is right. The mayor can veto any of the ordinances or any of the budget or any of the resolutions.
Okay, let's go on the route, Elvis.
To answer the question, Mary, what the intent to make sure things is moving in the same and getting things done. It's not intended to ignore the community and the desires of the community.
Thank you, Allison.
The mayor is the executive branch.
And the city council is a legislative branch. What is not happening is that the legislation was not being implemented by the executive branch. And so there needs to be checks and balances that are strictly through our charter. We go through the charter review to make sure if you're going to maintain a strong uniform of government, you have checks and balances in place.
Okay, Albert Cook.
Albert Cook.
No,
Hello?
there you go.
Albert Cook, leadership in action. I absolutely believe that the mayor should dominate the government. And what I mean by dominate, what I mean by dominate is that there should be proper leadership, be lead a strong leader in our community that also works with the legislature. And that is, of course, the city council. The mayor creates the budget, city council can alter it, and can also add to it. So working together with the mayor and the city council, we can be successful like we've always been. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, so the Chicago mayoral government centralizes the executive power. And it also, it puts the constituents and the voters in a position to know who's accountable as it relates to performance, budget outcomes. And so when she proposes budget, she can also, when she vetoes, and she can also set city policy without consensus from the council. But she absolutely is in place so that we know who to hold accountable and what the outcomes aren't.
Kerry?
We're the kind of be workers and she's the queen. So we can't do both. Work out there and then she can basically their constituent or the industry and that's to get what I want.
Yeah.
So I don't want to repeat what everyone else was saying, but I think it's important to also state that we have, what was said, strong and formal government. Their job in the city council is to work for the people. And goes back again to collaboration. We have to be able to work together if we're going to move District 5 forward together so that we are making sure that every neighborhood in District 5 is moving together. So we're not here for the drama, and to be honest, if there is drama between council and mayors, then the staff cannot do their job. Plus, the District 5 is not getting what they need. So we have to work together.
Thank you.
Jose Vasquez, you right in front of me. I'm the only person who working close to a mayor in the United States. So I know exactly what's the function of the mayor. As an elected person, is a public servant. His responsibility is select the staff for serve the community and working with the city council. That's the major job of the mayor is make sure the residents receive the service they need, navigate the system, and of course, it's the face of the city. So he's going to be ambassador to a new projects for the people invest money, make the city beautiful, bring tourists, etc., etc. So the real job of the mayor is supposed to be served to us. And it's important this election because our mayor was living with less than 20,000 votes. That's a shame. We need to get our voting masses.
All right, thank you, Jose.
When we look at the difference between the strong mayor and the city council, the thing is that the city council is meant to represent the districts. It's meant to represent our neighbors. We're meant to be closer to the people. With the mayor, they don't necessarily have to be. So they can come in with their own platform, they can come in with their own ideas, and they can sort of run roughshod over the rest of the city council. So it's all the more important that in the city council that we work with amongst each other to find solutions that really work on the whole for the community. It's as Bishop Scott will tell us, it's a 4-3 vote. We have to make sure that we have 3 other members that we're willing to work with and to find solutions that would work for the entirety of this. It's not just a one way or the other. We have to make sure that the entire city.
Thank you. Tom?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like everybody kind of answered this question to death. last.
Yeah.
So the only thing I can say is this, I think times I've been city council, times where I've seen real problems and I've seen things get pushed down the road or you think they finally got done and then they get vetoed. Just whoever gets into the seats, I hope they take their work super serious. And I hope we try to work as effectively as we can to get our job done because there's real struggle going on in our city. It's not just hurricane season, it's inflation, it's the cost of living, it's very hard day to day for the majority of Tampanians. And I feel like, once again, that people have to take that out of the true heart, that when you're pushing it down the road, somebody that desperately needs help is still waiting. There's projects that just keep getting kicked down the road that aren't getting done, and people are relying on.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, go on to other questions here. I'm so apologize. I'm not going to get to them because it's towards the end of the evening. So we're going to finish out with closing statements, 30 seconds. And let's start off with Daryl Ashley Gudney. 30 seconds.
Why not? Yeah, well, I appreciate, the chance to hop up here late. A testament to Tampa's having in transit. If I had liked to from Kennedy and Lowe's, I probably would have made it on time. One goddamn semi-truck on fire, and that's the end of that yesterday. So, yeah, I got in this a little bit late. I'm fucking starving. I'll be at Shuffle if you guys want to come hang out and, chat it up. But, yeah, other than that, have a fun election, September 9th.
Fran Tate, I have served the community for 20 years. My love for the community is deep. My passion runs deep. I have connected myself with many organizations trying to make the district better. I sit on the CAC board of the East Tampa CRA, and that was for a reason. I want to serve more effectively housing, public safety, transportation. I love children. I rescue animals. I appreciate anybody and everybody that comes before me. I am a crossing guard. I do it all. You ask me, and if I have enough time, I will assist you. I retired from the Market Cancer Center, 31 years there. I still advocate in Tallahassee for cancer research funding. You name it, I do it with love, joy, and peace, and blessings from God.
Thank you.
I want to first start by saying thank you to the amazing hosts, to the president of this association for the invite, also to the wonderful moderator. Appreciate you. Great security. Appreciate you all. Listen, I tell you, it is a privilege, and to all of you that sat here this far to listen to this being informed, we appreciate you. We need someone that's going to be accountable, that's going to also hold our mayor accountable, but also going to hold ourselves accountable and be integral. And I'm actually after 19 years of pastoring, I want to continue my service. God bless you. Elect Elvis. Look forward to your role.
Thank you.
Allison Hewitt, HewittWillDoIt.com. I am asking for your vote because I am ready to serve. I have had city council just about every week. I review the agenda every Sunday to make sure that we are aware of our community and what's happening here. I like to take my 20 years of experience to make sure that we are in the fierce urgency of now. We need action, we need accountability, we need leadership. Please vote for Allison Hewitt. Hewitt will do it on September 9th.
Thank you.
Albert Cook, Leadership in Action. The reason why I say leadership in action is that I've been appointed by the mayor, chief of police, and the chairman of the city council, probably three of the most powerful people in the city. They've entrusted me with their committees to help the city move forward. I'm working for you already. I'm involved in what's going on in our city at different levels. So vote for me so I can continue my good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna draw, my name's Ariel Renderly, I'm gonna draw a line in the sand. This race is unprecedented as it relates to the amount of youth that are asking for your vote right now. We will be holding the bag of the debts that this city collects as we develop it. We will be paying the CIT taxes and the bonds and the debts the longest. So we're asking for you to trust that you raised us well. It's our turn to own homes and they should be attainable. We are asking for support of the youth. We want to support our small businesses and we want to upgrade the infrastructure. The youth deserve a seat at the table and the time to do it is now. I represent the legacy that holds this seat already. I've been your neighbor for 34 years and I want you to know you can count on me. Ariel Hernandez.
Thank you.
Gary West. I have had the opportunity to serve the country and by being in the United States Air Force, disabled veteran, but I was a command in charge of around 40 jets that covered and secured our border areas, and very proud to do that. Married right now, I've got 48 years. I think there's a lot of area out there that we sacrificed in doing what we do. And one of the things I do is I'm very loyal, I'm very trusted, and I've been 40 years plus in doing what I do. And I've been out in the community, and I do it for all of the people. And I anticipate and really trust that you'll be out there to take the vote. And I hope you vote for Gary West for Tampa.
Thank you, Gary.
Goodbye.
Two things I want you all to remember. From the beginning, collaboration, transparency, and accountability have been at the forefront. Every forum, everything that I've ever talked about, it's always been about collaboration, accountability, and transparency. That's how we're going to move District 5 forward. In addition to that, youth empowerment has always been my number one. Always, when no one else was speaking about it. As for me being a youth, but also making sure that we are providing opportunities for you. I want you to remember that. Strong neighborhoods, smart growth, and economic development have always been on my tongue. I have never wavered, have never changed. And that is how we're going to move District 5 forward. So when I proceed with that comment, I hope I have a vote on September 9th.
Jose Vasquez,
Yes, sir.
I'm the main candidate for this. Because I'm coming to make sure there is management of the service of the city of Tampa correctly. I'm a different candidate. I know what we need to do. Okay? But if you don't give me the chance, we're going to continue with the same bureaucracy that we got today. So I'm in this race because I'm serious. We need to bring the pride back to district number 5. We need to make sure the money we invest on our taxes will be served correctly to our district. So if you're tired of the same, please go for Jose.
Thank you. District 5 is the centerpiece of Tampa's rise. We're seeing it all around us. And so it's imperative that we get out and vote on September 9th to ensure that the vision of a prosperous and bright future for District 5 and ultimately Tampa is realized. I hope you'll bring your vision alongside ours. We want to see new ideas that propel this place forward. We want to see even with relationships across the state that can also benefit our city. And I hope you'll understand that I bring those and I'd love to serve for you to ensure that your vision is met here in Tampa.
Thank you.
As a local business owner, I think I'm very strong on local business, also strong on arts and culture. As criminal justice major at a consulting company that does security planning for large events and done stuff with the city of Tampa, I feel like I'm strong on the public sector. I've advocated as a volunteer for different needs for a lot of the communities at the local, state, and federal level, and I've been successful. And I feel like there's things I don't know, but there's young people in these areas I talk to all the time that are smarter about public transit and affordable housing than many of the people that sit on council today, and I listen to those people. When you're voting for your strongest advocate. Who's going to fight for our communities? And I feel like that's me. At the end of the day, I feel like I'm a fighter. I can advocate and I get the job done. I hope I get you vote for District 5, the Georgia Tampa.
This was the term that was very short. It's only about 16 months. And he's someone who's been there, has experience, know how to work with the other council persons. I'm the only person up here that's been there, made a difference. In 1999, this community was deteriorated. It's because of the vote in our cast that helped turn around this area. You'll see great progress, and you'll continue to see great progress to 2043. That's how long the CRA for this area will last.
All right, that is it. Thank you so much, all the candidates. Thank you for attending this evening.
My goodness, before everybody just scoots out the door, hold on a minute. Believe me, I don't have more than a couple of minutes of things to say. But for starters, thank you, thank you, thank you. The first series of thanks to the candidates. You brought your candidacy and your campaigns to our parlor. You've done a real service to the community. Thank you so much. To the audience, this was all about you. So now it's your job to do your voting next month. We have, I think, the results of the straw poll. Are we ready to announce it? Okay, hold on. Okay, I see Nia Young at 17, Grant Tate at 7, Joanna Colbert at 2, Tom DeGeorge 2, Allison Gibbon 2, Ariel Denley 2, Odette Bruce 2, and then 1 stand alone for Elvis Pickett, Thomas Scott, Ash Dudley, Jose Mesquez, Terry West, and Albert Cook. Okay, folks, that's all we got. I want to thank Nicole Federica, Terrence Sabia, Aaron McKinnon from our board. Without you, this could not have worked. Mitch Perry, you did a great job. Thank you. I love yelling over all of this, but hopefully you're hearing me. Jason Gonzalez, our management assistant, you were great. And Noreen Dollar and the League of Women Voters, thank you guys for your service. That's all. It's 9 o'clock. We are adjourned.
All right, you did it.
It didn't go exactly as planned. There was an adaptation and overcoming going on there, but I think it went fine.
I think it's a
It went well. And not for nothing, I don't think there's been a larger attendance of candidates in this.
Yeah.
13 of the 14.
Yeah, you're right. More than we had Friday.
And they went solid for an hour.
I know, it was intense.
I don't know if they're good hearts out here.
I knew the home field advantage for Benign. I knew that coming in here, you know.
Yeah, it's her backyard. There are a lot of people involved.
So what did you do?